Kristen here from Scooter Book Corner, and I am going to be doing a flip through of this absolutely gigantic baby themed journal. So this started with me finding this tiny baby blanket that was a handmade vintage quilt in the Goodwill bins or at the Goodwill Outlets. So if you are not familiar with that, all these donations are dumped in literal giant bins and you dig. And whatever doesn't get taken out of those bins, like on a particular day or a few days or whatever, the next place it goes is the trash. So this is a combination of finding really cool vintage stuff on top of actually using what people could consider junk. So I guess I will consider this more of an authentic junk journal for that matter. There's a lot of rescued items, and so I'll try to talk a little bit about that as I go. This probably will be a little bit lengthy flip through, but this journal is literally floppy. You can definitely see it in like what's literally the back cover, because it is just the quilt. You can see that it is quite huge. This one really got kind of out of control. This is the first time I've ever made this theme, and I found really good stuff and I couldn't help but just keep stuffing it. So with that being said, let's get started. I found this applique in the bins. It was kind of in a bag with some decorations. This is some vintage fabric. Again, it could have been one that I had found out of the bins at this point, like some of it I don't remember. Hand-dyed doily, and I just kind of made this applique strap. So this is actually elastic, so there is room to grow. There is a strap here where you could unbutton it if needed, but right now I'm just going to kind of slide it off like a giant belly band. So you can see I just literally cut off part of the quilt and just stitched the top, so nothing super fancy here. Like the whole idea is kind of crazy, whimsy, roll with it. This piece of Chanel, vintage Chanel, was off a piece that I did rescue from the bins. It had been trashed, thrown to the side, had like a cigarette hole burn in it, and I'm just like, hey, I use pieces, so it doesn't matter. I guess before I start, let's see, there are 6 signatures bound into this. This flap here covers where it's bound. Because this journal is so floppy and full and embellished, I have a board in here that you can, tuck behind your pages to journal or write on. Since this is baby themed, it is literally not gender specific. So there's boys, girl, everything. I imagine that somebody who has more than one, obviously, gender of child would use this journal. Maybe a grandmother, or you know what, maybe you don't even have kids and you just think the stuff's cute. I don't know. It's just, this is the theme. So there are a combination of mini vintage papers, wrapping papers, wallpaper, there's scrapbook paper. There's all kinds of stuff in here. There are printables, hand-dyed doilies. This is a tuck spot, printed vellum. This was really cool. So in the bins, clearly somebody had thrown away their growth chart from when they were a baby. So this is like from the 70s. And there's a couple things like that in here. So we'll just kind of go through. There's printables, there's a pocket. So there's handmade embellishments and all of that kind of stuff. Here's another one of those records. This is somebody's actual record. Luckily it does not have their name on it. Dyed papers. This is a wallpaper giant envelope, so you could have lots of places to tuck and store documents in there. Here's a pocket, embossed paper pocket. There's lots of book pages and cards. There's stitching, per usual. This is just tucked in there. This could be used as a journaling card, or you could glue it down to make it a pocket. You know, however you desire. This actually was rescued from the bins, as was, this is a vintage baby blanket that I've cut up and ruffled, and that was also rescued. Tag, encyclopedia. There's actually where you can see the date. So this started charting in 1982. This is a bag that you can put wherever you desire, and some ephemera, flap. That's the end of the first signature. This is the start of the second signature. So it's stitched baby right here. I used my sewing machine that does that, and a little piece of Chanel. And here is a flash card. It says father. Just some more things. You can use this as a tag. It's double-sided. You could use it as belly band, a pocket, a decor, however. Some fun vintage wrapping paper. Some inking. Here's just some extra things that you could put wherever you desire. Right here is a belly band, and it has some sequins tulle. Right here is a fabric flap. I think this is October afternoon fabric. It says sweet. Here's a pocket. That's a pocket. Made a little tiny tag that has like the little baby charm. So there's a lot of details, tons, in this here book. Like, for example, this page is, you know, it has stitching, the fabric, vintage, you know, nursery definition. It has a pearl and some sequins. There's definitely things like that in here that, you know, quick flip through, you might miss. This is an unused vintage baby card. This is the back side of that. So there's another large pocket. So that's the end of the second signature, start of the third. It is decorated, but there are like a million pages. Obviously not truly a million, but so there's lots of pockets and flaps and folds that are not stuffed, but there's so much in here. There's tons, like literally tons. From magazine cutouts that talked about making baby items or cribs. Like this came from a magazine, and then, you know, I've made it into this, it looks like a tag, but it's a great place to journal. Tucks under this belly band here. Another vintage wrapping paper. This is vintage fabric that I did rescue out of the bins. Cute little pocket here. So again, vintage lace rescued from the bins, or at least the thrift store. I'm not sure specifically about that one. I get a lot of my vintage laces and stuff I will find at thrift stores and stuff as well. This is a fun belly band here. There is a pocket, so of course you can see that this was from a magazine, I think advertising about a bottle warmer. And that's the end of that signature. Here's the start of another signature. So this one's nice and big and fluffy. This came from, I think what it actually was like a baby mobile, and it was fabric. It was supposed to have stuff dangling off it, and I assume the things that dangle broke, and thus the reason someone had decided to trash it. But we're saving it and rescuing it, and it's now a pocket in this journal. So over here, it's another fun decorative page. You can see, you know, how good the baby is. It's ledger paper. So here is a pocket, and then these are here, so you can put, I have a tag in this one or anything else that you want in there. Here's a tuck spot. Here's a little, like, it flips and spins. The center of this signature has one of my favorite features I like making. It's a great place to store photos or ephemera for later journaling, other little whatever you would want to keep. Again, like I said, you know, this is a great place. This thing is huge. Lots of paper, lots of journal spots, lots of paper, lots of things untouched. So you have the opportunity to fill this up big time. And that's the end of that signature. This is the start of the next signature. So I had a couple fold out features. So I tried to do some fun interactive elements in here and then try to leave some things a little more plain. It says baby. So that somebody could still add their own elements to it and it wasn't, you know, so decorated that it would be hard to do that. These are a couple loose pieces of paper and pieces. There's a place to tuck here, a place to tuck here. And I have to stop myself because I could just keep decorating and decorating and decorating. And I wanted to make sure that not only would this be usable, it would literally be affordable, because at this point, the time that I have into this is absolutely insane. And if I keep decorating, it's only going to get more. That's the end of that signature. Here is the last signature. So here's a tuck spot, a pocket. Here's this flap. This helps tuck it in. Here is a little bit more of a vintage baby blanket that I rescued. Here is a vintage baby card, unused. These things, like if you are trying to look for them like online, like on Etsy, unused, these things can get quite pricey. So I find myself quite lucky that I have come across a few of them in my endeavors and not only rescued them from the dump, but that one necessarily wasn't one that I have found in the bins. That was one I think I paid a little bit more for, but still at a thrift store versus, you know, $5, $6, $10 on Etsy. Here's another pocket. There's the other side of that. And here's another pocket. And there is the end of that. So I hope you enjoyed this flip through. It was really quick, but this is a monster, and I wanted to make sure that we kind of got through it before, you know, any potential children that you would want to journal about became adults. So let me know what you think about this style of journal. It's a little bit different than what I normally do, but yet kind of, you know, still my thing. I'd love to hear your comments, your favorite parts. Are there more interest in things baby themed, or is this something that people aren't looking for? I hope people are looking for baby themed things, because I have a pile of stuff I have been accumulating for these types of journals. But anyway, until next time, I hope you have a great day, and thank you so much for sharing your time with me.